Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain TXB and today is the 3rd of April 2023. Now unfortunately the first quarter did not end with the price of Bitcoin touching the $30,000 mark, and I was disappointed that the price of Ethereum did not touch the $2,000 mark. But nonetheless, in today's episode we'll definitely go ahead and discuss what is going on in the world of Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and Ripple has been doing ridiculously good as well. So quite a lot to talk about in today's episode. And look guys, like we do in every Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, we're definitely going to be discussing two news regarding UAE. But in today's Crypto and Coffee at 8 podcast, what you're going to be discussing is the future of banking industry. And two of the biggest detractors of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, that is Dr. Doom and Peter Schiff, they are definitely expecting the banking industry to collapse. Now Dr. Doom, or Nouriel Roubini, he has actually said that most US banks are technically near insolvency and hundreds are already fully insolvent. Now does this mean that what Balaji Srinivasan has been betting against could be right? And if that is the case, there is a very high possibility for the price of Bitcoin to reach $1 million per Bitcoin. Now it is extremely unlikely. So what I'm going to be doing is discussing the article that Dr. Nouriel Roubini has written in Market Watch, and I'm going to check where does Bitcoin fit into all of this. And Peter Schiff, he is notoriously known for bashing Bitcoin. He has made another prediction, and to be honest guys, if you follow Peter Schiff, he often says that financial collapse is happening every year, and this just might be his 250th prediction. But nonetheless guys, what he's saying this time could be right, and what he's saying is that this time it might be the biggest economic disaster in US history. So could this lead to hyperbitcoinization? I'll definitely go ahead and share my opinions and thoughts on that. And look guys, ever since Jerome Powell announced the interest rate hike, ever since that day, Security Exchange Commission has been going after cryptocurrency exchanges. They issued a Wells notice to Coinbase, and in today's news what I'm going to be discussing is they have charged a cryptocurrency trading platform called as Bixby Exchange. And what is really shocking and surprising guys is if you were to go to the website of Bixby.com, it actually says that they have suspended the services, so definitely not ideal. And guys, regarding two news from UAE, the first news is about GoFazin and Shirley. They have launched a service in Dubai, and I'm going to be sharing my opinions and thoughts on that. And the second news is about an NFT market in Saudi Arabia called as Nooked Off NFT, and they raised funds via a seeding round. And Amnico Brands, one of the leading giants in the NFT space and the Metaverse space, have definitely contributed heavily on that. So we'll definitely go ahead and explore that news in today's episode. So quite a lot to talk about in today's episode, so let's kickstart with it right away. Welcome to the Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast that keeps you up to date on all latest developments in the world of cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and NFTs. Join us Monday to Friday as you kick off your day with a cup of coffee and a deep dive into the exciting and rapidly evolving world of digital assets. We'll cover the latest news and trends in the cryptocurrency and blockchain space, as well as delve into the growing world of NFTs or non-fungible tokens and Metaverse. Plus, we'll keep you updated on the latest developments from Dubai, UAE, and the wider Middle East region. Whether you're a seasoned crypto enthusiast or just getting started, Crypto and Coffee at 8 has something for you. Our expert host will provide insight and analysis on the most important topics in the industry and help you stay up to date on the latest developments. They'll bring you interviews with leading figures in the crypto and blockchain space and explore the ways in which these technologies are changing the world around us. From the impact on traditional financial systems to the potential for revolutionizing industries and transforming societies, we'll cover it all on Crypto and Coffee at 8. So tune in and join us for a daily dose of Crypto and Coffee at 8, and let's stay ahead of the curve together. We'll start your day off right with the most important news and insights from the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the Metaverse, and help you navigate this exciting and rapidly evolving landscape. In Crypto and Coffee at 8, the daily podcast covers the latest developments in the world of cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the Metaverse. We'll also bring you updates on the latest news from Dubai, UAE, and wider Middle East region. This also includes a range of topics such as developments in the local and blockchain industry, including new projects and initiatives, regulatory updates, and policies related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region, local and regional events and conferences focused on crypto and blockchain, interviews with leading figures in Dubai, UAE, and Middle East crypto and blockchain community, coverage of any significant news or events related to cryptocurrency and blockchain in the region. By covering these local and regional developments, in addition to the wider world of cryptocurrency and blockchain, Crypto and Coffee at 8 aims to provide a comprehensive overview of the industry and its impact on the Dubai, UAE and Middle East region. Now before we kickstart today's episode, I have an important message, so check this out. Firstly guys, Startup OI is global one-tech platform for tech. It offers global high-paying tech jobs with flexibility in working time and location, global free tech events and tech networks to connect with global like-minded engineers. A brilliant platform to listen to the tech experts in Metaverse and to grab their insights. Now listen, all you have to do is download the app Startup OI. If you're using an Android version, go to Google Store and App Store for iOS devices. Alternatively, you can also click on the show notes below to download Startup OI. Next, guys, listen, if you're into fitness, if you're into adventure, if you want to do something wild but still want to keep your health in check, there is a new podcast in town, a podcast focusing on obstacle course race in the Middle East. The podcast is called the Race Space Podcast. So check out the Race Space Podcast across all leading platforms. And the Race Space Podcast is a peer-to-peer community-driven podcast where they talk all about obstacle course race in the Middle East, from Sandstorm to Spartan Race, from Tough Mudder to Desert Warrior Challenge, and also the Government Gov Games, and quite a lot more. The podcast has interviews with athletes locally and internationally to get inside scoop on how athletes prepare for obstacle course race. In the podcast, they also talk about interesting stories on why they are motivated to do obstacle course race. And that's not all. They also plan to release 7 NFTs. And these NFTs are no ordinary. These NFTs will represent every emirate in the UAE. And listen guys, these NFTs are going to be absolutely massive. So do one thing, go to Spotify, go to iTunes, go to any leading podcasting platform and search for Rise in the Obstacle Course Race podcast. And finally guys, not your keys, not your crypto. If you have dabbled with cryptocurrencies and now are seriously getting to protect your cryptocurrencies, there is no better way to protect it by using a hardware wallet. And this is where Ledger Wallet kicks in. And Ledger Wallets are hardware cryptocurrency wallets made by Ledger, a company headquartered in Paris, France. And Ledger's hardware wallets are multi-currency wallets that are used to store private keys for cryptocurrencies offline. And Ledger offers 2 hardware wallets, the Ledger Nano and Ledger Nano X wallets. They are world-class experts with extensive crypto security backgrounds. They continuously look for vulnerabilities in Ledger products in a constant effort to improve the level of security. Now, in today's world, securing these digital assets is a critical challenge, and this is where Ledger kicks in. So click the link below to buy your hardware wallet and support this podcast. It is a brilliant way to support this podcast. So what are you waiting for? The link is in the show notes below. Now guys, since you're taking care of that, let's look at the global cryptocurrency market. Now the global cryptocurrency market is down to $1.17 trillion. Now what I was really hoping is by the first quarter, that is the 31st of March, the global cryptocurrency market most likely could have crossed the $1.20 trillion mark, but unfortunately that did not happen. Now since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.37%. But what is ridiculously bad about today's matrix, guys, is the volume of the global cryptocurrency market. It is down to $31.01 billion, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 4.01%. Now, I wouldn't be surprised on Monday when the market opens, these numbers would change drastically. And what I'd be really curious to see is the report by CoinShares and Glassnode, because what they're going to be doing is they tend to provide a weekly insight on what has happened in the previous week. So I'll definitely go ahead and update this on my Tuesday or Wednesday's episode. Now, the total volume in DeFi is ridiculously low and down to $3.84 billion, and the total value locked is $49.86 billion, and Lido is still leading the race with 21.66%, and $10.8 billion is locked in its protocol. And so far as DeFi is concerned, it accounts for 12.37% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. MakerDAO's total value locked is $7.66 billion, followed by Aave at $5.54 billion, Core Finance at $4.61 billion, and finally Uniswap at $3.94 billion. Now guys, look, in today's matrix, the volume of stablecoins is looking absolutely horrific. The volume of all stablecoins is down to $26.69 billion. Now to be honest guys, the volume of stablecoins being low is something that I definitely like, because in an idealistic world, the volume of DeFi should be higher, the volume of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency should be higher. Now out of this $26.69 billion, Tether USDT accounts for $20.69 billion. But surprisingly, guys, if you look at the market cap of Tether USDT, it has gone up. It is on the verge of crossing the $80 billion mark. So once again, what happens to the remainder $60 billion? Does it just stay as reserves? Or is Bitfinex utilizing these funds somewhere else? Now, Tether USDT's market cap is ridiculously high, but Circle USDC's market cap has gone down and it is currently at $32.51 billion. And if you look at the 24-hour trading volume of Circle USDC, it is at $2.82 billion. Binance BUSD's market cap is $7.55 billion, and if you look at its 24-hour trading volume, it is down to $2.44 billion. Now listen guys, despite me liking that the volume is ridiculously low, one reason why I'm upset about stablecoins is, despite being $26.69 billion, stablecoins is accounting for 86.07% of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. This should not be the case, and I've said this time and over again. The volume of stablecoins is low, which is a good thing, but it is accounting for a higher percentage of the total crypto market 24-hour volume. This is definitely not ideal. It should either be Bitcoin or Ethereum. Now that thing being said guys, Bitcoin's dominance is definitely on an uptrend, and as of today it is at 46.36%, Ethereum is at 18.40%, and if you look at the market cap, Bitcoin's market cap is $540 billion, whereas Ethereum is $214 billion. The 24-hour trading volume of Bitcoin is $11.6 billion, whereas Ethereum is $5.91 billion. And look guys, as and when the Shanghai upgrade day kicks in, I'm pretty much sure the 24-hour trading volume of Ethereum will definitely change. But what I'd really recommend you to do is, Laura Shin, one of the greatest podcasters in the cryptocurrency space, she has a brilliant episode. I really am trying to recollect the name of the person who was on that episode. In that episode, they discussed what is going to happen, particularly so far as the volume is concerned, and how the Shanghai upgrade is designed. All of the validators will not be withdrawing the funds at the same time, and that, guys, is an absolutely brilliant move. And if you look at it, how Ethereum is designed, it makes a very compelling case of being ultrasound money. Now let's look at the king of all kings, that is Bitcoin. And to be honest guys, I was a little bit surprised that Bitcoin did not cross the $30,000 mark. The reason being, because of the bank collapse, and because of this massive news about hyperbitcoinization, I was really hoping that the first quarter does end with Bitcoin crossing the $30,000 mark 3rd of April. The price of Bitcoin is $27,948, and since the last 24 hours, it is down by 1.36%, and since the last 7 days, it is up by 0.68%. XRP or Ripple is doing ridiculously good, and if you're part of the XRP army, you should know that since the last 24 hours, it is up by 1.70%. But listen to this guys, since the last 7 days, it is up by 15.87%, and this is due to the news surrounding SSE. And for some odd reason, the news why XRP is pumping up has nothing to do with XRP, but it has to do with a case regarding SRP and Binance USA, and I'm pretty much sure I covered this in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast last week. So what's going to happen is, because of this news, Ripple is expecting that the judge will force SEC to say that XRP is not a security, which to be honest, it clearly is a security. And listen guys, you might be a massive fan of XRP and you might be part of the XRP army, but if you truly understand the Howey test and what constitutes a security, it is extremely basic and it's black and white, and the Howey test refers to US Supreme Court case for determining whether a transaction qualifies as an investment contract, and essentially there are 4 basic criteria. That is A, is it an investment of money? B, in a common enterprise? C, with the expectation of profit? And D, to be derived from the efforts of others. And look guys, the founders have already got majority of the chunk of all the XRP, and clearly the XRP army is definitely pumped up to news which has nothing to do with XRP at all. So I wouldn't be surprised if XRP price does actually dump down in the next few days. Now going back to the prices of cryptocurrencies that do actually matter, Ethereum is $1,785, and since the last 24 hours it is down by 1.80%. Since the last 7 days, it is up by 1.06%. Binance Coin is currently at $312. Since the last 24 hours, it is down by 0.76%. But since the last 7 days, it is down by 4.54%. And look, since the last few weeks, there's massive news going on about the future of banking industry. And in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about two detractors of Bitcoin who have shared their opinions and thoughts on the future of banking industry. And Dr. Nouriel Roubini, also called as Dr. Doom, what he said in an article is that most banks in US are technically near insolvency and hundreds are already fully insolvent, and looks like the US banks are definitely on the brink of extinction, and there might be hundreds of banks who are insolvent and many more may collapse in the coming days. So the big question is, guys, where does Bitcoin fit into all of this? Now, Dr. Nouriel Roubini is arguing that many US banks are in precarious financial position due to a combination of factors, including unrealized losses in securities, reduced market value of their assets, and potential deposit flight. And this is exactly the reason why Balaji Srinivasan is hedging for the price of Bitcoin to reach $1 billion. Dr. Nouriel Roubini, or Dr. Doom, believes that the rising inflation seen in 2020 led to the higher bond yields, which hurt both stocks and bonds and caused banks to suffer losses on the long-duration fixed income assets denominated in US dollar or euros. Now, furthermore, what he argues is that the value of banks, that is liabilities, that is deposits, may be reduced by rising inflation, but this is not enough to offset the losses from the unrealized security losses and reduced asset values. And guys, if depositors were to withdraw their funds, banks may be forced to sell securities at a loss to meet the demands, leading to further insolvency issues. Now, could that be possible? And this is the area, guys, where politics comes into play. So far as Bitcoin is concerned, it could potentially have both positive and negative impacts. Some proponents and maximalists of Bitcoin argue that Bitcoin could provide an alternative to traditional banking system, offering a decentralized and more secure way to store and transfer value. This could potentially reduce the risk of bank insolvency issues and deposit flight. But on the negative side, guys, some critics, including some of the Bitcoin maximalists, argue that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and speculative, making them a risky investment. Additionally, some of them argue that the lack of regulation in crypto industry could lead to fraud and other abuses. Now listen, guys, it is worth noting that Dr. Nouriel Roubini is a well-known critic of Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrencies in general. He often calls blockchain as a glorified Excel spreadsheet. Now listen, guys, what I'd really recommend you to do is watch all of his debates, and in every debate, the person who he is debating with, they have always agreed to points that Dr. Nouriel Roubini has brought up. And guys, in 2020, he had a debate with Alex Mashinsky, the CEO and founder of Celsius Network, and he did actually say that Alex Mashinsky is a big-time fraud, and unfortunately, that thing did turn out to be true. Now, Dr. Doom has argued that Bitcoin and blockchain are overhyped, and they have little intrinsic value, and the lack of regulation makes them a prime target for criminal activity. And what I'd really recommend you to do is, guys, watch all of his debates. He's one man against each and every Bitcoin and crypto enthusiast. Now, along with Dr. Nouriel Roubini, Peter Schiff, he's a detractor of Bitcoin as well. But the biggest problem with Peter Schiff is every time he makes prediction of financial collapse, and it is possible that one of these predictions do turn out to be true. Now, I actually like Peter Schiff's podcast. His content is absolutely brilliant, and he says the positive things about gold. And he often bashes Bitcoin and blockchain, but I 100% agree to his podcast. And I would really recommend you guys to do is subscribe to his channel because loads of valuable information. But looks like his 250th financial collapse prediction may be possible, and he has warned of the biggest economic disaster in US history. Now, Peter Schiff has stressed that we are on the cusp of financial crisis, and it's going to be much bigger than the last. Now listen, guys, if you follow Peter Schiff, he has been saying this exact same thing for the past 10 years. Now, if you tend to say this every year, probably every day of the week, it is possible that once it just might work. Now, if you do want to find out more information about his prediction, go to bitcoin.com and read through the article. If these detractors are right about banking industry, could it be possible that we are heading to hyperbitcoinization? Now, Peter Schiff is an economist and gold investor who has been warning about an impending economic crisis in the US. He believes that the Federal Reserve has made a series of mistakes since 2008 financial crisis, including inflating a larger bubble to paper over the previous mistakes, and this has led to much bigger bubble now. And according to Peter Schiff, the US economy is poised on the biggest economic disaster in its history. Now listen, guys, Peter Schiff did have an interview with Joe Rogan. And during the interview, guys, Joe Rogan did actually ask Peter Schiff What is it that needs to be done in order to fix it? Unfortunately, Peter Schiff did not have an answer, and he kept on saying the things that the government is doing wrong. Joe Rogan asked him for the second time, I understand what you're saying and what the government is doing wrong, but how can we fix it? Again, Peter Schiff could not answer that, but he kept on ranting, and Joe Rogan asked him for the third time, listen, I agree to what you're saying, but how do you fix it? Looks like Peter Schiff is complaining about what the government is doing, and to be honest, guys, it becomes so easy to blame the government and make critics. Unfortunately, Peter Schiff could not tell how to go and fix it. Now, Peter Schiff does see recent bank collapses as the start of the next financial crisis and warns that the banks are ill-equipped to handle a combination of a significant economic downturn and a surge in inflation. But what he predicts is that if the banks fail, people will seek to withdraw their money, but it won't be there because the Fed will have printed too much money to bail out the banks. This would lead to spiraling inflation and devaluation of the US dollar, which Peter Schiff believes is already being debased in order to fund bank bailouts. Now, what are your thoughts, guys? Now, once again, guys, the content that he puts up in his podcast is absolutely brilliant, and you need to understand that Peter Schiff is a vocal critic of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and does not believe they offer any value. He believes that gold is a better hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty. However, some Bitcoin maximalists and supporters argue that decentralized and deflationary nature of Bitcoin could offer a viable alternative to government-controlled fiat currencies. In particular, what they argue is that Bitcoin's finite supply of $21 million in scarcity makes it a valuable store of value, something similar to gold. And guys, something which I mentioned earlier about Dr. Doom or economist Dr. Nouriel Roubini also warned about the risks associated with cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology. Now, like Dr. Nouriel Roubini, Peter Schiff also believes that cryptocurrencies have no intrinsic value and are primarily used for speculation and illegal activities. He also argues that the blockchain technology behind cryptocurrencies is overhyped and limited real-world applications. Now, so far as blockchain technology is concerned, guys, I 100% agree that they are very limited use case, but nonetheless, what are your thoughts? Mention them in the comments below. Now, guys, let's discuss some news regarding SEC and the US Security and Exchange Commission is charging cryptocurrency platform called BXC Exchange. Now, to be honest, I haven't heard about this exchange, and it is spelled as BXC, which is B for Bravo, E for Elephant, A for Alpha, X for X-ray, Y for Yellow.com, and they are charging the exchange as well as the executives for operating an unregistered exchange broker and clearing agency. And guys, if you go to the website, it actually says suspension of services on BXC Exchange. Regrettably, we are announcing the immediate suspension of services on BXC Exchange due to uncertain regulatory environment surrounding our business. We have made difficult decision to cease operation. I really am not sure what happens to the funding. And guys, this goes back to the very second line of Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper, where it clearly mentioned main benefits are lost if a centralized entity is required to prevent double spending. So not your keys, not your crypto. There is another news, guys, regarding SEC. That is the chairman of SEC, Gary Gensler. He was in a congressional hearing and the entire video is available in YouTube. And Gary Gensler said in a congressional hearing that the securities regulators require new tools, expertise and resources to combat misconduct in crypto space. And what he said is that we have seen the wild west of the crypto markets, rife with non-compliance where investors have put hard-earned assets at risk in a highly speculative asset class. Now, the video is well over 2 hours long, but I would really recommend to watch it probably at 2x the speed so that you truly get an understanding of what Gary Gensler is saying. Now, guys, let's discuss two news regarding UAE and Middle East. And the first news is all the way from Dubai, and the second one is from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, the first news is that GoFazon and surely launches a new service in Dubai. So let me try to give out some more information. And this news, guys, is a press release via Bitcoin.com. So let me try to give out some information. GoFazon and Shirley is a fintech and crypto consultancy firm based in Estonia, and the firm has launched its first crypto product for the UAE to assist businesses and startup owners in obtaining crypto licenses. Now look, guys, in 2015 and 16, Estonia was the hub of blockchain technology, and at that point of time, I very specifically remember the Dubai government did actually send some employees to Estonia to learn more about blockchain technology. Now the firm has launched its first crypto products to UAE to assist businesses and startup owners in obtaining crypto licenses, and this is a big deal, and the product is designed to simplify the licensing procedure which usually takes up to 12 weeks and includes collecting necessary documents, registrations, and opening a corporate account. And Gophazen surely offers a clear and simple way to obtain a crypto license for any project, and guys, the UAE is quickly becoming one of the most attractive jurisdictions for crypto projects due to its fast-paced developments and business-friendly regulations and tax regimes. And Gophazen Surely's latest products is part of its global strategy to help businesses grow and thrive around the world. Now look guys, this idea might sound great, but once again it goes back to the basics of Bitcoin. Why was Bitcoin created? And the definition of Bitcoin is, it is a peer-to-peer electronic cash transaction system. Now what Gophazen Surely is doing is absolutely great, but as long as transactions are peer-to-peer, that's everything that I care about. Now going back to the news, the firm can assist in obtaining a license in two key jurisdictions, that is the DMCC Free Zone and IFZA Free Zone, that is International Free Zone Authority, both of which are located in Dubai. Now the DMCC Free Zone guys offers a high company status and better chances for account opening, and the licensing procedures requires confirmation of the director's experience in the cryptocurrency and financial sphere, whereas the IFZO International Free Zone establishment is a cheaper and faster way to obtain the license with no need to deposit share capital or prove previous experience in crypto and finance. And guys, a few weeks ago in my Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, I also talk about the Emirate of Ras Al Khaimah. They are aggressively getting into the cryptocurrency and blockchain space as well. And guys, going back to the news, the product offers different types of licenses, including buying or selling crypto commodities, providing services based on blockchain as a technology, creating a metaverse service provider, or an NFT marketplace. And regarding NFT marketplace, we'll definitely be touching base on some massive news all the way from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, Gophazen Surely is a leading legal and business consultancy for digital assets-oriented businesses, investment funds, and financial organizations focused on EU markets while expanding globally. And the firm's headquarters is in Tallinn, Estonia, with representative offices in Lithuania, the Czech Republic, and Poland. And the firm's services scope features company registration, business strategy development, and financial licensing, including crypto businesses, EMI, and other types of licenses. And the licensing procedure guys for DMCC Free Zone usually takes 3 to 4 weeks, and the minimum share capital requirement is 50,000 dirhams, which is roughly around 12,000 euros, and it must be submitted to the corporate account within 6 months after registration. And so far as the IFZA Free Zone is concerned, it is faster and cheaper way to obtain a license with absolutely no need to deposit share capital or prove previous experience in crypto and finance. And guys, Gophazen Surely's product for obtaining a crypto license in the UAE is aimed at helping business transform the economy and create new value for a more effective and secure business environment. And the UAE, guys, as we know, is a rapidly developing market for crypto projects with its business-friendly regulations and tax regimes, making it one of the most attractive jurisdictions for crypto startups. But one thing, guys, which I've been noticing is Dubai is turning out to be a red ocean, and Gophazen Surely's products for obtaining a crypto license in the UAE is expected to further contribute to the growth and development of the crypto industry in the region. So there's going to be heavy competition, but nonetheless, definitely a brilliant move. Now guys, let's discuss some news regarding NFT in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and the news is regarding an NFT marketplace called Nukta, and they recently had a seed funding round. So let me try to give us some more information. Now the website for Nukta is itsnukta.com, that is I for India, T for Tango, S for Sugar, and the name is Nukta, which is N for November, U for Umbrella, Q for Qatar, T for Tango, A for Alpha, H for Harry.com. So pretty cool domain name, to be honest. It's called itsnukta.com, and Nukta is Saudi Arabia's first NFT marketplace for organization. And guys, Nukta has raised a seed round of funding, and the funding round was led by Amico Brands with participation from Polygon and regional investors. Now the exact amount of funding is not disclosed, but what they plan to do is they plan to use the funding to scale up its business over the next 12 months, and the areas of focus include product development, marketing, talent acquisition, and other operation. And Nukta, guys, is the first NFT marketplace in Saudi Arabia and is licensed by the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology and the Ministry of Investment. And look guys, in my Metaverse Everything podcast, I do see a lot of news particularly about Metaverse. And guys, in 2030, Saudi Arabia is having the expo called as Vision 2030. So such news is definitely going to help the development of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Now, the platform called Nukta enables individuals and businesses to build, deploy, and monetize NFT collections easily. And Amico Brand's industry network and operational resources will support Nukta's growth. The investment is a part of Amico Brand's commitment to developing the Web3 industry in the Middle East and North Africa, also called as the MENA region. And Yat Seyu, who's Amico Brand's executive chairman and co-founder, actually said that Nukta will greatly help boost Web3 and NFT adoption in the region. And Nukta Gas is held by Salwa Radbi, an award-winning photographer, artist, and Web3 and blockchain advocate. And Salwa is one of the first female founders and CEOs in Saudi Arabia's NFT marketplace. And Nukta's co-founders have extensive industry experience, having previously worked with major companies such as Kareem and Oracle. And guys, if you're into the NFT space and are looking for a blue ocean, Nukta is definitely a platform you need to check it out. And Amico Brands, guys, has a strategic partnership with Manga Productions to create Web3 pilot projects and grow the regional blockchain industry. And Amico Brands, as you know, develops and publishes a broad portfolio of products including Wrap Token and Sand Token, original games and products utilizing popular intellectual properties. And the company has multiple subsidiaries, including the Sandbox, Blowfish Studios, Quidden and others. And Amico Brands has a growing portfolio of more than 380 Web3 investments, including Colossal, Axie Infinity, OpenSea, and Dapper Labs. And guys, Amico Brands are an absolute giant, particularly in the NFT, Web3, and Metaverse space. And the strategic investment in Nukta expands Amico Brands' portfolio in MENA region and reaffirms its commitment to supporting high-quality projects in the region's Web3 ecosystem. So absolutely brilliant stuff. So those are the news, guys, from Crypto and Coffee Date from Blockchain DXB. In case if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out my other website area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And for the next few minutes, guys, it's going to be an Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Let's get started with the Ask Me Anything series. Hey everyone, it's George from Blockchain DXB, listening to the Ask Me Anything series where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. I have a question by Anna who asks, if SEC does rule XRP not as a security, will it pump up to the moon? The most likely yes, and now unfortunately, the news about XRP not being a security has pretty much nothing to do with the technology itself or nothing to do with the product itself, but looks like the XRP army or people are under the impression that if SEC does not rule XRP as a security, magically the product is going to improve, and that's definitely not the case. The court case that is going on has pretty much nothing to do with the technology itself. And to be honest, and I particularly am not a fan of XRP, because if you look at the technology behind XRP, the technology is brilliant. It is more of a software, and to be honest, there is absolutely no need to have the XRP coin as well. And Laura Shin, someone whom I mentioned earlier in the podcast as well, she is not a massive fan, and she often bashes Ripple. And Crypto R Us, one of my favorite YouTubers who I listen to pretty much every day, he has a funny clip of XRP in each and every of his videos. Now going back to your question, the news will definitely pump up the price of XRP, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the technology. And you also need to understand that when you talk about XRP or Ripple, they do not have any blockchain as such. It is essentially a software. So if you have a software, I don't understand the need for having the token or cryptocurrency as well. And banks can still use it and remain absolutely no difference. Now one of my big questions is, as in when central bank digital currency kicks in, what will be the use case of XRP or RippleNet as a company as well? I really am not sure if you actually need XRP. How could it be possible that central bank digital currency does actually adopt XRP's technology? I 100% think so, and that might be a brilliant idea. And when you talk about the benefits of the software of Ripple, it does an absolutely brilliant job, particularly when you talk about transfer of funds from one country to another. And one thing which I've mentioned in my Crypto and Coffee Date podcast is in El Salvador, what they could have done is rather than making Bitcoin a legal tender, if the president did actually want to help individuals, he could have implemented XRP, not necessarily make it as a legal tender as such, but rather than, let's say, making Bitcoin a legal tender, he could have forced companies to start using RippleNet, and by doing that, the remittances, the cost would have gone down to more than 90%, and the time would have been reduced as well. And if you look at the error rate of Ripple, it is less than 0.001%. So talking about the software, it is definitely doing a brilliant job on what it is supposed to do. But going back to the token, I really don't think so there is any use case of XRP. But going back to your question, and yes, if XRP does rule XRP not a security, the price of XRP will definitely pop up to the moon. And I wouldn't be surprised, if you know the XRP army, they are absolutely crazy. And sometimes they tend to get threatening and aggressive as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the price of XRP does go well past the $2 mark as well. But once again, as I say in every Crypto and Coffee Day podcast, all price predictions are 100% right, 50% of the time. So those are the news guys from Crypto and Coffee Day from Blockchain DXB. In case you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please drop me an email to info@blockchaindxb.com. And guys, also check out my website www.blockchaindxb.com, and also check out area2071.com that talks everything about Metaverse. And if you like listening to this podcast, please click on the follow button, give it a 5-star rating, and share the word across. And remember guys, Monday to Thursdays, 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. we have Crypto and Coffee a Date, where we cover top news and information pertaining to Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And how the series of episodes of Crypto and Coffee a Date works is, we usually cover some top news and information pertaining to the price of cryptocurrencies, some major breaking news, occasionally short and sweet news as well. News that has an impact in the cryptocurrency world. The other news and information is related to Dubai, UAE and Middle East, and the world of Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. And what you listen to right now is the Ask Me Anything series, where you listeners can ask any questions regarding Bitcoin, blockchain, beyond blockchain, cryptocurrencies, NFTs, DeFi, and Metaverse. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and have a nice one. Bye-bye.